Hello student, I'm Najma Seher. In this video, I'm going to discuss one important concept of your accounting syllabus, that is what GST. What exactly the GST is? As you all aware about GST. Okay, GST has been introduced on 1st July 2017. Okay, it came into the effect in India. Okay, in 17 July 1st 2017 it has been introduced. Goods and service taxes. GST stands for goods and service taxes. It is commonly or popularly known as a GST. Okay, why this GST has been introduced in India? So GST is one of the boldest reform, okay, boldest indirect tax reforms of a modern times in the history of India. In the history of India, it is one of the boldest reform which the government has undertaken, okay, which has introduced in a taxation system. So as you know that in taxation system we have two categories. One is direct tax, another one is indirect tax system. So indirect tax system means what? The government is going to levy the tax, or they are going to charge the taxes on purchasing of goods and services. Whatever the goods we will purchase, whatever the service we are going to take, okay, we are going to consume, on that we are going to pay, as a consumers we are going to pay certain tax, okay, on those goods and services, which is indirectly, okay. But in direct tax, what happened? This indirect tax, the individual, the person is going to pay the taxes on his income, like a salary person is going to pay the tax. That is what the direct tax and indirect tax. Okay, now the direct tax will be there as it is. There is no such modification. Whereas in an indirect tax is tax, that the indirect tax has been replaced by the GST. Okay, GST is one of the indirect tax for the whole nation. It is an indirect tax for the whole nation, which will make India one unified common market. The GST intends to subsume most indirect taxes under the single taxation regime. Regime. So what is the objective behind introducing the GSTs? So the main objective of introducing the GST is to bring a uniformity in a rates of taxes. Okay, in order to bring the commonality, in order to bring the uniformity in the taxation rate all around the nation, this GST has been introduced. This GST brings the common market, okay, wherever you purchase the goods and services, what category goods and services you may consume or you may purchase, you need to pay only single tax, okay, single rate of tax. You may purchase in Karnataka, you may purchase in Andhra Pradesh, wherever you may purchase, but you need to pay a same rate of tax. That is the speciality behind introducing the GST. Okay, in previous law, in previous days, in previous regime, taxation regime, the taxation rates will be vary from one state to another state, and the taxation rate will be varies from one product to another product. That is what the previous scenario. But now it has been changed. Wherever you purchase, okay, whatever you purchase, you need to pay a single rate. That is what one nation one rate. That is what the motive of GST is. Okay, now let us discuss what is GST. GST means any tax on the supply of goods and services. Okay, so you need to pay the tax on supply of goods and services, or both, either goods or services, or both. If you are purchasing or supplying both, you need to pay the tax. But supply of alcoholic liquor for human consumption, that is not included in a GST. That is separate from the GST. That is what tax. So what exactly the goods is? Goods means what? We already know about the goods. It is a material, commodities or articles which can be seen, which can be touched. Okay, that is called as a goods. Okay, all tangible items will be called as a goods. But this goods does not include petroleum product, crude oil, high speed diesel, motor spirit, natural gases, tobacco products. Whatever the item you are seeing here, that is petroleum, crude oil, okay, high speed diesels, motor spirit, natural gases, tobacco products, which is these are the products which is excluded from the GST. Okay, on this product you are not going to pay any GST. Okay, that is what the goods. Service means what? Intangible, we cannot see but we can experience it. That is what anything another other than the goods will called as a services. Now let us see the journey of GST in India. So basically the concept of GST was planned by the union government, that is the central government has been planned in the central level in 2006 itself. In 2006 itself it has been planned, okay, which has been projected the implementation of same by 2010. By 2010 they were planned to implement the GST. The first discussion paper, that is we in short form we called it as a FDP. FDP, that is what first discussion paper of GST was released on 2007. 2007 the discussion paper has been released, but it did not come into the light because due to the many reasons, due to the political reason rather than the economical reason. So in February 2008, Honorable Finance Minister announced the introduction of GST from 1 4 2010. In 2010 they decided to introduce, but due to the reasons that has been not introduced. So these are the, in 2006 they are planning to introduce the GST in Indian taxation system. Due to the many reasons, due to the political issues, this has not been introduced. The finally in 2017, on 1st July 2017, the GST has been introduced in India. This is what the journey of GST, but preparations of introducing is started in 2006 itself. Okay, now let us discuss what the features of GST. What is the nature or the characteristics of GST? So the first and foremost important feature of GST is a dual structure model. This is called as a dual structure model. So because as you know that India being a federal nation, it is a federal nation, both the center and the state government had a equal say in the matters of concerning with the revenue. Okay, in the matter of revenue they have equal rights, okay, equal say in the matter concerning to the revenue. So as a federal nation, India is a federal nation, both the state government as well as the central government have a equality. That is why it is called as a dual structure model. Next feature is uniform rate of GST on all goods and services entire country. Okay, it is a uniform rate. As I told you, the objective of the GST is to have a, it has a unique ideology called one nation one tax. Okay, one tax rate system they are preferred to follow. So the implementation of GST was historic as the economic boundaries that were created by the different state and the union territories was abolished. Okay, whatever the differences we will find between or among the states or among the union territories, that has been abolished and leads to the free movement of goods and services. With the introduction of GST, whatever the differences we find among the union territories, among the different states, that has been abolished, and this introduction leads to the free movement of goods and services without any hassles, without any problems, without any much what we can say much procedures or cumbersome procedures. We can freely move our goods and services freely into the different state or different union territories. And there will and also no states can drive the home advantages of differences in a tax rate on specific goods and services. Okay, this GST introduction of GST leads to so in some states on some product they will charge high rate on goods and services. Okay, that differences, that home advantage what we say, that has been abolished, that has been removed through the introduction of GST, because our objective is to have one taxation system whole overall country. Okay, that is what a uniform rate of goods and services. Next one is interstate transaction and import attracts IGST. So the third feature or nature of GST is interstate transaction. In case movement of goods and services between the states or between the union territories and import from the foreign nations, integrated goods and service taxes will be applicable. So here interstate transaction. Interstate means one state to another state. If you are supplying, if you are purchasing the goods and services from one state to another state, then this will applies the IGST as well as the state SGST. Okay, that we will discuss later class. Okay, interstate transaction and imports will, if you are purchasing from the foreign nations, from the foreign country, then you have to charge IGST, that is integrated goods and service taxes. Okay, so here the entire revenue will be collected by the central government. Okay, whatever the income you will get, whatever the amount you will earn, that will be collected by the government. Later on they will share the same to the concerned state or to the concerned union territories where such goods and services will be utilized, where such goods and service will be received or consumed. Okay, the amount will be collected by the central government. Later they will pay to those states or those union territories where the goods or services has been purchased or the goods and service has been used. Okay, to that they are going to pay. A very important feature of GST is it is a destination based taxation system. It is a destination based consumption system, based consumption tax system. It is one of the unique feature of GST. It is pure destination based consumption tax. Okay, it is concerned with if any state or if any union territories where the goods and services are consumed will generate the revenue for such transaction. Okay, so where the goods has been received, where the consumption, in which state the goods are received, are used, are consumed, that particular state or that particular UT will generate the revenue. Okay, that is what destination consumption taxation system. Next is computed on the basis of invoice credit method. Okay, the GST will be calculated based upon the invoice credit method. Okay, the liability under the GST will be invoice credit method. Credit will be allowed on the basis of invoice issued by the supplier. Whatever the invoice letter you will get from the suppliers, based upon that the GST will be calculated. That is what invoice credit method. These are the five characteristics, five nature of GST. Apart from this, we have payment system. Okay, payment system we will have, and goods and service tax network. This network will be taxation network will be provided by the information technology based law, which is handled by the Infosys Limited Company. They are the provider of services to the Ministry of Finance of India. Okay, that is what goods and service taxation network, input tax credit. There are number of characteristics are there. Nature of GST will be there. That is not there for your syllabus now. Now let us discuss the silent features of bill as follows. Okay, now let us discuss the silent features of bill. This bill, the silent feature of GST bill is about the charging of taxation power. That is what charge of taxes or levying of taxes and rules and regulation, conferring the simultaneous power upon the parliament and the state legislature to make a law governing the goods and service tax. So here, according to the article 265, tax not be imposed except by the authority of law. Only authority will have a right to levy the taxes, to collect the taxes. Okay, this power, the power of making laws, power of collecting the tax, collection of tax will be will be separated. Okay, between the parliament as well as the state legislature. The Indian Constitution, article 246 of Indian Constitution, distributes the legislative power including taxation between the Parliament of India and the state legislature. As we have that three list we have, one is union list, another one is state list, and another one is a concrete list. These are the three list we will have. The power of collecting or levying the charges will be distributed among the state and among the central government. That is what parliament and state legislature, they will decide the levying of charges. Okay, taxes and collection of taxes. Okay, they will have power of power. Okay, subsumming of various taxes. Okay, the subsum means what, combining of different taxes. We in previous Indirect Tax Act, we have different types of taxes, like we have additional excise duty, central excise duty, consumer duty, number of taxes we will have, that has been subsumed, okay, that has been combined together. The objective of introducing this, so this GST subsum the following central and state tax law. Okay, it has been combined the different laws into a one. So under central level, central indirect taxes, in that central level we had central excise duty, additional excise duty, excise levied under the medical and toilet preparatory, service tax, countervailing duties, special additional duty, central surcharge, as well as the cess. This has been subsumed under the GST. At state indirect taxes, we had VAT, central sales tax, entertainment tax collected by the local government, octroi duty, entry taxes, purchase taxes, luxury taxes, lottery, betting, gambling taxes, and cess. These are all has been combined under the GST. Now let us discuss the objective, the benefit of GST. So the by introduction of GST, we have many advantage, as well as we have also witnessed the number of demerits as well. Okay, let us not discuss about the demerits of GST. Have let us see about the importance or the benefit of GST. So first point, the first benefit what we get it through the GST is reduction of cascading of taxes. Reduction of cascading of taxes is nothing but, cascading is nothing but double taxation system. So if we purchase any goods and services, or if any supplier supply the goods and services, he need to pay central taxes. Along with the central excise duty, he has to pay VAT. These two was to be levied on those days. Under GST, this has been abolished. As reduction in cascading system of taxes is nothing but, under old scheme there was an application of tax on taxes. Okay, we are going to pay tax on taxes, that is what the cascading effect. Okay, one, for example, take an example on excise duty, that is duty on manufacture. Either the VAT or CST was levied at a central excise duty could be form a part of cost to the buyers. In GST, cascading tax is avoided. Okay, here we are not going to pay tax on taxes. Okay, one supplier, one manufacturer, he has to pay VAT, as well as he need to pay a central excise duty. That is what cascading effect. Next one is overall reduction in prices. So here the reduction of prices. The overall impact of GST could be in the reduction of the prices of a commodity and the services, with the cost benefit to the final consumer. When the tax rate is more, the prices of goods and services will be more. Okay, it is a link to one another. When the tax rate is high, the manufacturer is going to charge, he is going to put a high rate on the goods and services. Ultimately, we the consumer is going to pay such amount. So the objective of GST is to reduce the tax. Okay, double taxation system. We are going to pay double taxes. Tax on taxes we are going to pay in a olden taxation system. But now only single tax we are going to pay. That leads to the reduction of the price of goods and services. When the price of goods and services will be reduced, then automatically the price of goods and services, the price of goods what we pay as a consumer, that will also reduce. That is what overall reduction in prices. Next one is common national market. As I told you, the intention of introducing GST is to bring the uniformity in a taxation rate. Okay, through the entire nation, to the entire country, to bring a common market. This GST will create a common national market, in the sense that the rate of GST on a particular product or services is same irrespective of any states, irrespective of any union territories. Wherever you will purchase the product of India, the price what you will pay on the goods and services, the tax rate what you will pay on the goods and services will be same. That is what a common national market. Are you getting my point? The common national market is nothing but the common national market means what you have to get the point is to bring the uniformity in a taxation rate. Wherever you purchase the goods and services in any state, in any union territories, okay, in country, in India, if you purchase goods and services anywhere, you need to pay a same rate of, say for example, for purchasing any product, you need to pay only 5% of tax. That is what this will be applicable, the rate of tax will be applicable uniformly throughout the nation, throughout the country. That is what common national market. Self-regulating taxation system. Okay, for self-regulated taxation system, for the transaction entered with the benefit is a self-regulated tax system. So if you enter the transaction with the any suppliers, if any service provider, or if any manufacturers, okay, the documentation here is very important. Okay, on such transactions, on such purchasing or consuming of services, we pay GST on our purchases of service or product with a proper documentation. I told you in the nature itself, we need to have a invoice bill. Okay, invoice credit bill is very important to calculate the GST. Okay, if we regularly purchase the goods and services, same type of goods and services, if we purchase from the suppliers, from the service provider, then we can collect the GST, what the same GST whatever we paid in a previous transaction can be recovered as an input tax credit. Input tax credit is it is a very depth concept that we are not going to discuss now. It is very detailedly we have to discuss. You will study in a further classes. Okay, when the same goods are supplied to our consumers or the service recipient, only when the proper documents are maintained. Okay, this input tax credit will be availed, we can get it when we maintain the documents correctly. So it is a duty of concerned businesses to maintain the documents relating to the transaction. If you maintain the documents correctly, then only you will get the benefit of the GST. Okay, that is what input tax credit. Next one is no intrusive electronic tax system. So here non-intrusive electronic tax system is nothing but GST is a network based indirect tax system. It is a network online transaction, you can make it here, online payment you are going to make here. There is will be what we can say, it is a single clearance board. Okay, counter, it is a single clearance counter. Here everything will be happen through the network based. Okay, network on network. If you have an internet connection, if you have registered with the GST, if you get it the unique number, then you can anywhere you can make a payment of GST. It does not require much manual work. You need not to require paperwork will be not there, manual work will not there. Just feeding the relevant information. If you just give the relevant information in a network with the proper invoice number, and thereby generating the ITC, input tax credit. So automatic credit availment and settlement of account is possible without any intervention of any tax officers. So without any intervention, without any interference of tax officers, we can settle or you can avail the payment. Okay, you can avail the benefit as well as you can pay the taxes. Okay, that is what just to through, if you just feed the correct information, relevant information, and if you give the correct invoice number, then it will generate your ITC in the sense input tax credit. Okay, easily you can settle your account, easily you can make your payment. So here, so through the help of network you are going to make your payment. Okay, here the manual work will be reduced. Next one is simplified tax regime. So simplified tax regimes, that it says that this GST has been simplified, the tax regime that automatically generates the required response from the given transaction. Also it is a network based, it is a technological base. In course of time, all the transaction, whatever the shortfalls you will come in the technology, that will be clear smoothly. It is in the transition period, whatever the difficulties you will face, that you are going to be overcome as days passes. It is a simplified tax regime. Reduction of multiplicity of taxes. Next one is multiplicity of taxes. As I discuss you in a subsumming of taxes, if a manufacturing goods and services, if a supplier is producing or supplying the services, then he need to pay number of taxes like central excise duty, additional duty, this duty, that duty. He has to pay number of duties, okay, tax he has to pay. So as we already aware of the objectives, as we already know about the objective of GST is to reduce the number of taxes. In order to reduce the number of tax masters, the business has to serve in a previous taxation system, and number of types of tax both at the central and state level we have to pay. In a central level we need to pay the central excise duty, at the state level we need to pay again VAT. Okay, there are number of taxes we need to pay. In order to reduce this number of taxation system, this GST has been introduced. Next, consumption based tax. As I told you, it is based upon the destination, okay, where the goods or where the goods and services you will avail, you will consume, that particular destiny will be generates the revenue for the state or for the union territories. Okay, that is what a consumption based taxation. These are the objectives of a GST. Reduction of cascading. Tax on tax will be reduced here. Overall reduction in price when the rate of tax reduces. Okay, number of taxes will be reduces. Automatically the price of goods and services will be reduces. When the price of goods and services will be reduces, automatically the consumption will be increases, and for the manufacturer the cost of production will be reduced. That is what overall reduction in prices. Common national market is the sense the objective of GST is to bring one nation one rate. Okay, when you have a one rate, wherever you purchase the goods and services, wherever you avail or you consume the services, you are going to pay a single rate of tax. That is what national common national market. Self regulated system. Just through maintaining a proper documentation you can get the benefit of a GST. Non-intrusive electronic taxes system. Electronic tax system is what it is. GST is based upon the network. It is a network based indirect tax system. Here in this GST we need not require the officials tax officers help, or here manual work will be also reduced. Okay, just through feeding the correct information with in the proper network with the proper invoice number, you can settle your credit availment as well as settle your account without intervention, without help of the tax office. Okay, simplified tax regime. So as day passes, as it is automated one, it is network based, so here the tax payment or the tax amount availment will made a easy. Okay, whatever the technological backups will be there, whatever the technological problems we will face, that we are going to overcome as day passes. Reduction of multiplicity of taxes. Reduction of multiplicity of taxes means what? In previous law, in indirect taxation system, a single manufacturer or single provider, service provider, he need to pay the tax double time and two times he need to pay. That is what cascading effect. He need to pay those tax same at a central level, again on same goods and services he need to pay at a state level. Likewise he need to pay double time. That will be reduced with the help of a GST. With the introduction of GST, this multiplicity of taxes has been reduced. Consumption based tax, as I discussed, it is a destination. So GST Council and its function. GST Council under article so, so GST Council article 279A. It is a 279 article 279A. It provides the constituting articles constitution. Article 279A will says that one should form a council. One should made a council called the Goods and Service Tax Council within the 60 days from the date of commencement of the Act, Constitution Amendment Act of 2016. So here we made a 101th amendment we have made in order to introduce the GST. Okay, the council includes, okay, GST Council includes Union Finance Minister. Okay, at a union level, at the central level, whoever the finance minister, he will be the chairperson, and under him we will have a vice chairman person. Okay, that person will be choose among the member of a council. Okay, chairperson will be chosen from the member. Okay, Again we will have a union ministers or state ministers. Okay, whatever the revenue ministers will have, they will be the in charge, they will be the part of this council. And even minister in charge of finance, taxation and other minister nominated by the state government. These are the members included in a GST council. The function of this council is to decide the taxes, cess, and surcharge that may be subsumed. What are the things to be subsumed? What are the things to be combined? That they will decide. Apart from that, the goods and service that may be subjected to exempted from the GST. Okay, here they will decide what goods should be included, what goods should be excluded from the GST. They are going to decide. Okay, this function will decide the rates, floor rates, band, special rates. They are going to decide, and they will decide upon the threshold limit of turnover below which goods and services can be exempted. Okay, turnover they will decide, upon which they need to pay the taxes, that they will decide. And apart from that, there will be a special provision with respect to the state of Arunachal Pradesh, Assam, Jammu and Kashmir, Manipur, Meghalaya, Mizoram, Nagaland, Sikkim, Tirapura, Himachal Pradesh and Uttarakhand. Apart from special provision they are going to they are going to make, and any other matters relating to the goods and service taxes, this council will be decide. These are the function they are going to make. This is not there for your syllabus, it is just for your information. Now let us discuss rates under GST. Okay, we have majorly we have five rates. One is 2.0.25%, that is on cut on semi polished stones included under this tax slab. 5%, 12%, 18% and 28%, and these are the products on which we are going to levy the tax rate. Okay, just refer it. Next we will have types of GST. We have two types of GST: state goods and service tax, central goods and service tax, integrated goods and service tax. These are the types of goods and services. When the transaction is happening between the states, among the state, then ST will be applied. When if you are making central level, okay, central level CGST will be applied. When you are doing it with the other states, other country, if you are importing, if you are exporting, in the such case this IGST will be levied. These are the types of GST. Okay, here if you have any doubts, here is a problem which says about the total tax you are going to pay. Under previous act we are going to pay much tax, but under this we are making the less act. Just make a calculation of it, you will get it. Okay, these are the examples will be there, that you will refer it. Okay, if you have any doubt you can make a clarification. Okay, thank you.